we are at now the new venture of the show that I teased earlier today. Kendall is the brainchild of Kendall Stewart.
Yes.
So if this is
Give
whack,
it an experiment.
so this is whack. Completely blame him.
Yes.
He's not on social media, so you can't find him. But if you pull him up in the street, you can say, "Yo, man, your segment was trash." So just let that be clear. But we're gonna try it out today. I'm excited to hear what he's got to say. So Kendall, talk to the people about this new segment we're doing and what we have to talk about today.
All right. So basically, the segment. As far as we keep going, as long as we keep doing it, it'll be, I start off. It's called UnVerified. That's the name. It'll be about essentially stories out there that are major, but in this same industry, the comic book movie industry or television, that aren't necessarily from reputable sources. And so, for example, we got this covered. No shade on We Got Discovered.
We Got Discovered is trash or something.
No shade on We Got Discovered.
No sources.
But they're saying from their own sources, this hasn't been picked up by anyone else, that Daisy Ridley is being talked about for playing Batgirl. I don't know if that's true or not. No one else is talking about it, but they're reporting it. I wouldn't feel comfortable enough normally for us to be talking about this for a long period of time on this show, but what do you guys think, real quick, on the possibility of Daisy Ridley playing Batgirl?
Shamari, Spider, as a Star Wars expert on the new generation media platform.
I have to. I think if she can pull off an American accent, I can see it. She's athletic enough, and having seen her pull off stunts and do fights in Star Wars as she's been able to do, I can see it. You got to grow out the hair a little longer. I'm not necessarily a Batgirl purist in that she has to be a redhead. Like, I mean that'd be nice, but
the last time they did Alicia Silverstone, I think we could pretty much. No, we can only go up from there.
Yeah, come on. So like
Uncle Alfred.
So yeah, I'd be down. I think it's cool.
I agree with the American accent thing, though. That usually isn't really an issue. It doesn't seem like it's an issue for anyone anymore. I guess it's not that hard.
I would say it was an issue for the homie that played Alchemy and Draco Malfoy.
Oh, yeah.
With him, I think it's noticeable.
Oh yeah.
With him,
yeah. It was they kept his lines to a minimum.
Yeah,
that's why he was always very he was very short with people because I think they just didn't want him talking very much. I will say real quickly, I think the accent is something to think about, but it's not usually an issue.
Huge name,
definitely a huge name. We know with those, Batgirl I think is a pretty big name in itself, but we know with those characters you gotta attract them with a big name. So Ridley fits that. One of the hottest young actresses in Hollywood, and she's someone who is not afraid of those action roles. So I would say definitely a decent get. They are indeed trying to get her.
According to them, the Doctor Strange 2 villain is Mordo, and that he is a full-on villain in this movie. And they also say that according to them or their sources, Marvel is down to 2 for the Black Panther 2 villain. Apparently, it is down to Namor, and it is down to Princess Xanda, who's apparently a more obscure Black Panther villain. Obviously, a princess from a neighboring country next to Wakanda, another fictional country, but she has mystical powers. Comes up. She has extreme rage when she finds out that T'Challa is married to Storm. So that's the other candidate, apparently. So if it's not one of these two, then you realize why we call this segment Unverified.
On Mordo is not surprising. They're going to have to convince me why he's a full-on villain. I know they went towards that path by the end of the last movie, but I think sometimes one of these issues the movies have are not fully explaining and making that heel turn worth it. I think the biggest movie I think about is James Franco in Spider-Man 3. Like we see, he sees all the the goblin stuff in his dad's thing at the end of Spider-Man 2, and he figures out Peter had in some ways had something to do with what happened, but we never get to like why he's now the Green Goblin. None of that ever happens. It's a Spider-Man 3 is a terrible movie. I mean, the more I think about it, I'm like, that movie was ridiculous. So I hope that that's not the situation where somehow Mordo isn't just in the beginning like, hey, I hate you, Doctor Strange. Like, now I want to see him fully grow into his hatred for Steven. So that makes sense. They teased it, but just make sure you sell it and it works. 2, on the other guy, or Namor or this Xanda. Xanda, I think they like the idea of possibly keeping the cast all black again. That's something that I think is important to them. And I think a strong female villain, considering how much that movie resonated with females, makes a lot of sense. Name recognition is not that big, but with Black Panther, it doesn't even matter name recognition anymore, I think. It's just such a big character, anyone's going to see it. I think it would be borderline foolish if you're down to Namor and Xanda that you choose Xanda, because I think Namor has an ability to really change the landscape of how we look at the MCU. Well, I think Xanda kind of fits more into that cookie cutter line I was talking about. People have issues with Marvel before.
I definitely agree with you on the with the last part. I feel like if you're down to those two, look, I trust Coogler. If he prefers Xanda, do Xanda. You know, if he thinks that's the story that he's more comfortable telling, or that he thinks...
Look, he got Killmonger over.
Killmonger was spectacular.
He got Killmonger over in a way I never thought he could.
Yeah, so, I mean, look, if he wants to do Xanda, do Xanda. But I would rather see Namor.
Last 2 stories. These are coming from the Marvel Scoopmaster on Reddit. Apparently, fairly reputable Scoopmaster when it comes to Marvel Cinematic Universe scoops.
Shout out to Scoopmaster.
Shout out to Scoopmaster. Maybe we'll get him on the show at some point. I'm joking.
He had that voice modulator.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Captain America is still alive.
He says that basically the Ant-Man Wasp characters, one, will not be they'll be in a diminished capacity, is what he says, going forward. That they may be on the shelf, more or less. And he also says we may not be getting a Thor sequel or a 4th Thor movie till at least 2023. So
the Ant-Man stuff, I think, it's funny you bring up the Ant-Man stuff, because I think Paul Rudd, I think, has kind of been hinting that
there is no real future.
Ant-Man's at the end of this road. Because he's like, hey, fans, you want Ant-Man, you got to launch a campaign for him. I'm like,
yeah.
What? It was a really weird comment that didn't seem to really get picked up by anybody. No one seemed to analyze what he was saying.
John Campea talked about it for a little bit.
But when I heard that, I was like, what? A multi-million-dollar actor is begging fans to get Marvel and make a movie for him? That don't sound like someone who's in their plans. So I think that we've probably seen the end of solo Ant-Man movies. Or at least primarily Ant-Man movies. I could see him maybe crossing over in a future Spider-Man movie, something like that. But I don't think we're going to see another Ant-Man movie.
Last thing. I talked to Shamari about this earlier in the week, but a couple of actors being talked about for Shang-Chi. Donnie Yen could be playing either Shang-Chi or the villain, the old statesman, Mandarin, potentially. Obviously, Donnie Yen, who we saw in Rogue One. But also, forget the kid's name.
I forget his name.
Yeah, forget his name.
Riverdale.
But from Riverdale, from 13 Reasons, from
Reggie.
From Captain, or Shazam, I should say. The kid at the end who played one of the Shazam family members.
Yeah.
Forget his name. Zachary, no. I think his name is Zach in one of the shows. But regardless, Reggie and whatchamacallit.
Reggie in season 1 of Riverdale.
Yeah, in season 1 of Riverdale. But he's being talked about. He is not a martial artist, as far as I know. Donnie Yen is. Those two very opposing.
Also, about Charles Melton?
Not Charles Melton.
Oh, sorry.
I know it's not his name.
I don't watch Riverdale, so I had no idea where they ended.
Now, he was recast, the character.
Yeah, he was recast.
That might be the dude who's in another movie that's coming out. But
Ross Butler?
Ross Butler, there we go. I was like, I know I recognize the name. Yeah, so Ross Butler is being talked about, as well as Donnie Yen, as well as a kid from Aquaman who was also in Power Rangers, which I did not see. Ludi Lin. But, again, Ross Butler, he's an Asian American actor, one of the bigger ones out there right now.
Not a martial artist.
Not a martial artist, as far as I know. Is that a concern?
Yes. Because of what I saw from
Now Donnie Yen.
Because what I saw from what's the name?
Iron Fist.
Iron Fist, yeah.
Yeah, it's a concern. Slight concern.
I almost feel like they kind of have to.
Unless
that's part of the story.
It's just gonna be difficult because you gotta have a martial artist who can act.
Yes.
And
they gotta look
Marvel,
at these guys.
Marvel,
Jackie Chan's old.
If it was up to me, I think Marvel should go very much outside the box for how they make this movie. But Marvel has been, again, as the other theme of the show is Marvel cookie cutter. Is they've been very cookie cutter on how they do movies. So they gotta have a lovable protagonist who is funny, who is charismatic, and can drive the movie. I think they should make this movie more like a Bruce Lee movie, and that Bruce Lee was charismatic and was great in acting, but I agree. But those movies are action movies.
Now
they're just
Bruce Lee is a special
kung fu movie.
He's a special.
I think that
person.
the next Shang-Chi should be a kung fu movie.
But someone like Jet Li doesn't have the charisma of Bruce Lee. He's a huge star in his own right.
But he's a huge star because his action movies are sick.
So maybe that's what this is. Maybe
that's what they need. That's what they should do. I think they should do something like what we've seen from Jet Li. I just don't know if that's Marvel has never thought about doing anything like that. So I don't think they
we haven't seen a Jackie Chan or a Bruce Lee in a long time. Like those guys, there aren't that many.
They're the only ones. They're the
only ones that could be
they're one of a kind.
Superstar, martial artist actors. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I agree with EJ. I want to see a kung fu, Shang-Chi movie. I don't know about Donnie Yen. They can't find somebody else.
Donnie Yen is old.
And I love Donnie Yen.
He can't be Shang-Chi.
But I mean, I feel like I feel like he's the only guy I see in these.
They want him to be
playing
Shang-Chi?
martial artist roles.
It's being talked about.
He's 55 years old.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I don't. They talked about if he's not Shang-Chi, he could also play the.
He's definitely playing the villain.
He has to play the villain out there. And if he's a villain, 100%.
That has a 55-year-old man to be a superhero today.
Yeah.
For a superhero they're introducing. That's not happening. Yeah. This is why this is the unverified.
Yeah, this is why we're talking about unverified.
Come on now. That's ridiculous.
That's the word.
Donnie Yen. No respect to Donnie Yen.
Yo, Scoop
Shout out to Donnie Yen. Shout out to Scoop Master. But come on now. Donnie Yen is not going to be Shang-Chi.
I don't know if this was the hashtag show. It's not Scoop Master.
Oh, okay.
So
shout out to the hashtag show. We covered them a bunch. They got dope content. But Donnie Yen is not going to be Shang-Chi. Stop it. What was the other one before that, though? You kind of jumped the shark on the previous. I was talking about one thing, and he jumped to Shang-Chi. But what was the other Scoop? What did Scoop Master say? What did he have?
Oh, Thor. Thor not coming until 2023. And
I didn't get to
you can talk about Ant-Man or Thor. I mean,
and Ant-Man.
I said my piece on Ant-Man. Thor. Yeah, I think Thor makes sense. I don't think that we're gonna see a Thor movie for a while. I think he'll be in Guardians, and what his adventure then comes beyond that will be something new.
I agree with that. I mean, I think that Thor prediction is very safe. I don't think we're going to see a Thor movie for a while. I think Thor may be mixed in with whatever the next Guardians movie is. So, I think for us seeing a solo Thor movie, I think that we might not get that for a little while.
Yeah,
and with Ant-Man and the Wasp, I don't know. I feel a little bad because I was hoping to see at least more of the Wasp. If Paul Rudd, was going to not be coming back for a while. But
I think he will. Cause I think they'll be in the Avengers.
Yeah, that's true.
I just don't think you'll see them anymore. As
they're not getting their own movies.
They're not getting their own movies. Yeah,
they're done with that.
Either way, I think that's a shame. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, Ross Butler is gonna sit down with Feige apparently, according to this source. They have a meeting. So as well as Ludi Lane from Power Rangers. And Donnie Yen is being eyed to play somebody.
Thank you, Kendall, for Unverified. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that segment of the show. It was brand new, and I think it went pretty cool. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this podcast segment, be sure to check out all of our shows on the New Generation Podcast Network on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Stitcher.